One of the things I really can't stand is is when people think they're in charge of me, when they think they're my boss and they have no authority. Where they walk around with their chest out and they take it upon themselves to get them a clipboard and they look at and point and write down little notes like they're really doing something, and then they make little snide comments at you like, "You're going to leave that way? That's not up to our standard." And they keep doing this for so long, you can ignore it for a while, and then people start believing that this person is in charge and everything, and it goes on so long that this person's just yapping, yap, 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 yap. And you're finally you're like, dude, shut up! You're not my boss. You have no authority. Now it sounds like I'm just ranting, doesn't it? But I'm not. Your enemy, the devil, roams around roaring like a lion, seeking who he may devour. Now, most of us, when we read this, we don't look at the particulars in this. We think the enemy is a lion. The Bible never says he's a lion. See, there are animals in the animal kingdom that can mimic another animal, and this is done to entice its prey. It's to trick you. So what the enemy does is he entices you. He roars like he's a lion, but he's not a lion. He roars like he has authority. He trots around like he's got authority, but he has no authority. The enemy mimics Christ. He does. He mimics authority. He has no power. He has no authority. He can't create. What the enemy wants you to believe is that he's actually the one in charge. He brings things to you to mess with your mind and to have you doubting what God said. And he's roaring like he has power. There's only one lion that's spoken of. That's the lion of the tribe of Judah. That's Jesus the Christ himself, Yeshua. All the enemy is trying to do is make you believe that he and Jesus are the same. I've got just as much power as Jesus does. He doesn't. Matter of fact, you read about him in Isaiah, where he says, I'm going to be like the Most High. This is before he got kicked out of heaven. The enemy is trying to use the name of God to represent himself. When he says, I will be like the Most High, if you don't know what God's name means, Yud He Vav He, Yehovah, uh, his name is the verb form to be. You know, to be or not to be. You know that. It means he was, he is, he will be, or he is to come. That's the verb form to be. So what the enemy does is he tells you, I will be like the Most High. And the term for Most High points to the Messiah. So all the enemy is trying to get you to see is that he's the same as Jesus, and he's not. And I know there are people out there, some people believe that Jesus and Satan are on the same level, that they're spiritual twins or something like that. That is not the truth. The enemy is a created being. He has to go to God to ask for permission to mess with you. He has no power. He can't create. All he can do is destroy. He can't give life. All he can do is kill. He can't give you anything because all he's going to do is steal. He has no power. He mimics God's power. Somebody's going to get free today. You have to. Just like that coworker that thinks they're in charge and they're barking orders, you better do this. I'm going to go tell Bob. It's time to tell the devil to shut up. You have no authority over me. You have no power. Do you know who I serve? Huh? Do you know who lives on the inside of me? Do you know what he's done for me? And here you are just flapping your gums like, did God really say that? Yes, he did. He did. I'm I'm going to live by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. That's what I'm going to live by. All the enemy does is mimic, oh my goodness, mimic who Christ is. He's just like those animals, mimicking other animals. If you look up animals that mimic other animals, it might surprise you. They do all these different things to trick you. And that's all the enemy has in his bag of tricks is mimicking God. All he wants you to do is worship him and not the not the creator. He has no power. He has no authority. He has to ask for permission. You got to get free today. The enemy can't tell you the truth because he knows he will be exposed. So he has to try to trick you. He has to come up with some lie. He has to con you. He knows that because you're God's child, he has a hedge around you. And the only way he can get God to be mad at you or to punish you is if you do something outside the will of God. He has no power. He has no authority. He has no right. He's powerless.